Timestamps for topics, spoilers, and corrections are in the description.
Hello and welcome to episode 50. Guys, we're on episode 50 of this. A
Whoa,
landmark.
special.
Heck yeah. Two more, and it's going to be a full year of weekly podcast that we've made together. So that's really exciting. Yeah.
Nice.
Heck yeah. Welcome to episode 50 of the Roll Jump Media podcast. I am your host, Ray, and I am joined by my co-hosts, Jose and Luis, and my good friend, Cassandra. How's everybody doing today? How is your Saturday morning?
Happy Saturday. It's going good.
It's a beautiful Saturday.
Yes, happy Saturday. It's going fine.
Awesome. Couple things that I wanted to mention before we get into the nitty gritty. First thing is that there has been a change to how the podcast comes off if you watch it on YouTube. We are having the B-roll from our gameplays on Twitch on there, so you guys can see something other than my face the whole time. Hopefully that's a nice improvement for you guys. And there's supposed to be Gamescom going on next week. I'm not sure of the dates that are happening. Does anybody know?
No, I'm not sure.
Let me go ahead and look that up real quick so the people know what to expect. Gamescom. The Heart of Gaming, the 25th through the 27th, August 2021. And I also believe that Jeff Keighley's Gamescom Live, or whatever it's called, is happening on the 25th as well. So we're going to probably have a pretty juicy podcast for next week in terms of announcements and things. So that's exciting as well. All right. So a overview of what we're going to be talking about today. It's not going to be a terribly complex podcast. We're going to be talking about our draft check-in, see how things stand right now. We're also going to be talking about 12 minutes. 12 minutes came out, and we're going to be talking about what reviews that has been getting. And we're going to be also talking about what the console generations that's happening now and previously, and our experiences with it. And we're going to be in detail about what games we played, how we liked it overall. And it's probably going to take up more time than we have, but we can always continue it on another podcast. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our draft. Let me go ahead and change the screen. Pop this up. All right, so I have pulled up our draft currently. The standings right now, my team, Justice for Samus Aran, has 66 points with 5 games released. I do have to replace 1 game. And a new development, I counterpicked 12 minutes and I lost 8 points from that because 12 minutes currently has a 78 on OpenCritic.
Damn.
Yeah, took a bit of an L there, but it happens. Jose's up next, Sabo Defender. He has 4 games out, 2 that needs to be released, that will not release and have to be replaced, and he has 44 points. And Luis with Super Luigi Bros, he has 5 games released with 64 points, and he's looking good so far as to having to replace no games, which is really cool.
So I should get like 60 points for Skyward Sword alone, right?
Ooh, what does Skyward Sword have on OpenCritic? Oh, that wouldn't have even counted anyway. You can't pick that one.
because it's a port.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we didn't count ports and remix.
Damn, how dare y'all?
Yeah. Remakes we would count, like Final Fantasy VII Remake I think is okay. Did we say that? We didn't have to really deal with it this time, but I don't remember. Anyway, we already drafted our stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. We already drafted our stuff, so yeah. So Jose, I'm guessing that everything's going to stay the same for now since I'm guessing there hasn't been a game that you want to replace it with just yet.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm having the worst luck with these games. They're being pushed back. Yeah, I have to make more changes because Stray is not coming out. Horizon Forbidden West isn't coming out. Um, but yeah, I'll think about it a little more.
Yeah, and we also have Gamescom coming up, so hopefully there's something fire that comes from there.
Yeah, are we able to change our counter picks?
I believe I can. So,
Okay, because I feel like
um,
I'm gonna lose points with Kenna if it does come out.
oh, like if you locked it in it
Yeah,
unless it's like
yeah, but I mean,
Luis. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
okay. No, yeah, because I was like, are we able to just like change them if we want to? But if not, then it's totally fine.
Yeah. No, sir, you're locked in unless it's like Luis
Damn it.
and yeah.
Well, hopefully it's a horrible game.
Yeah. Well, within our podcast, we are hyping up Kina Bridge of Spirits, but you never know.
Mhm.
You never know if something doesn't jive with the reviewers and it gets a 70 or something. But
Right.
yeah. And Luis, you have to change your counter pick against you just
Jose,
have to yeah,
Bottleneck.
yeah. I mean, if we're allowing you to change your counter pick, can you counter pick one of mine as well? That's what I was thinking. That's why I hesitated.
Mhm.
I mean, I think you should be able to and just counter pick whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
see.
Do you want to wait until we choose some new games and maybe you get
Yeah,
you'll get a
yeah.
good
I
chance?
think I'm gonna wait.
Okay. Playing the long game. I respect it.
Yes, but I'm coming for you, Ray. 2 points.
Okay, okay, okay. And as for our budget, I blew a lot of my budget on getting Metroid Dread, so I only have $14 remaining.
Damn.
Luis has the most money left. He has $93 remaining. And Jose has $40 remaining to draft additional games. And as for games that are coming up, Psychonauts 2 is going to be releasing on the 25th of this month, so in a few days from now. WarioWare Get It Together, September 10th, and Life is Strange True Colors is coming out on September 10th as well. Just a couple of games that are coming up, and I'm sure we're going to be keeping tabs on that as we continue checking in on our draft. All right. Actually, before we move on to what we've been playing, I did want to go over the 12 minutes reviews that have surfaced. Are you guys down to talk about 12 minutes? Are you sensitive to whatever the reviewers have to say?
No, I'm down. Yeah, let's go.
All right. So 12 minutes. 12 minutes has a 78 top critic average on OpenCritic, and 71 critics are recommending it. What the game is? It's kind of hard for me to explain, but hopefully from these reviews you'll get a good idea of what kind of game you're in for. So I'm just taking the ones that are featured right on the front page here, so I don't have to do that much work being selfish. But there's one review from Ryan McCaffrey from IGN. He gave it an 8 out of 10, and he says that 12 minutes injects a compelling time loop mystery into a traditional point-and-click adventure game to create original gameplay that complements its story's curiosity factor. Melindy Hetfeld from Eurogamer. There's no recommendation or anything. There's just an excerpt that says, "There's quality within this intriguing time loop, though by the end you're left wondering whether the core idea is a good one after all." We have a review from PC Gamer by Wes Fenlon. They gave it a 53 out of 100, and a really brief snippet. A clever time loop setup devolves into frustrating repetition. And the last one I have right here is from Rachel Weber. from Games Radar, and they said they gave it a looks like a 4.5 or 4.5 out of 5 stars about that, and they said a miniature time loop thriller that will burrow into your frontal lobe and stay there long after you solve the mystery. So as I said previously, it currently has a 78 on OpenCritic. Relatively good reviews, actually good reviews, I would say. I know that Jose had drafted it, and he probably has the most investment out of all of us for this game. How do these reviews strike you, Jose?
Well, just on a purely like competitive viewpoint, like on our, I'm glad that it got good reviews, just because it gives me some much needed points.
Gives you a boost.
Right? Yeah, it does. But as far as well, in terms of like gaming, or what it does, for gamers, I think it's uh I kind of was hoping that would get these good reviews when it first was announced or talked about. It seemed like a very weird premise. And I mean, right off the bat, like when something's weird, when something's like not the usual, or maybe the plot is not as clear. um uh I don't know, that's interesting to me. And I don't know, I've always been interested in those type of games where, um I don't know, like it's just like you have to play with time, or you have to race against time, or anything that has to do with time. It's one of the reasons why I like Majora's Mask, that it has this 3-day thing. um and I'm glad that it's being received well. I'm I'm happy that it worked, because sometimes some games do try new things and do try to experiment and provide new interesting gameplay, and then it kind of backfires. It's not received well, or it doesn't click with consumers. Um, but yeah, it seems like 12 minutes is doing well. People are enjoying it, and I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to play it um, at one point. But yeah, I think the time factor, as well as like the mystery factor that it has, I feel like that's right up my alley. So we'll see.
Okay, okay. Yeah. I was assuming that that was kind of the draw that you had towards it, that you were interested into those facets of what the game would offer. Um, Real quick, I'll just say what my opinion is. This game didn't really have a chance for me in the beginning because I'm really mechanic centric, like you guys know, and point
Hmm.
and click adventures. And I've heard that it's not even a really refined one at that. Is not going to go up on my priorities for playing games. So um, I am also glad that it did well too, because especially as a new game, and it just has the ability to do whatever it wants, pretty much. And it did take advantage of that. I think that's impressive on its own. Anybody else opinions about 12 minutes?
Yeah. So for me, I've heard. Well, I follow like a few people like on Twitter who've talked about games, and they talk about their impressions. They talked about their impressions, and I heard some of them say, that maybe like the the voice acting um, wasn't hitting. um,
Okay.
some of the puzzles, uh, they were a little too, maybe too. I forgot what they said, but I think it was something like too complicated, or too
Obtuse.
right, and it was sometimes hard to figure out how to do things. Um, but then I saw other people, praising that aspect, and praising the challenge to it. So from what I saw, um, it is sort of like a mixed, a mixed game, or like the impressions are kind of mixed.
Yeah.
But I think overall it's done fairly well. Um, but yeah, I'm into like those types of games as well. Especially if they're like puzzle games and you have to think about how to solve certain things, and especially like this is I'm guessing it's like a mystery, like a murder mystery or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, so it is interesting. It's something that I would play. Um, I don't know how much it is, um, but it is something that I will give it a try. Um, but yeah, well, you already got the points right from it, Jose, for like the draft. Okay, so
Yes, I do.
all right. Um, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much my overall impressions of what I've heard. My impressions of the impressions.
Impressions of the impressions. All right, cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. Shall we move on?
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so too. I hear no objections about that. Um,
We spent 12 minutes talking about 12 minutes.
Imagine if that were
11.
true. All right, so what's next? We talk about what we've been playing. Let's go ahead and keep the usual order. Luis has the privilege of starting us off. Go ahead and take it away, sir.
All right. So sadness, depression. I've been playing uh, mostly again similar to last time on the podcast. I've been playing mostly on my 2DS. I've been playing that Puzzle and Dragons uh, Mario Nintendo or Mario version. Um, Again, just I just play it while I'm watching like a video um, or just on my free time, which is like very few. Um, so I've been playing that. I haven't played. I played some Apex. Um, I played some Apex. Finally, I was able to play in the new season. I hadn't played Apex in a while as well, so it was good to get back on that. Um, and that's pretty much it. On my Switch, I haven't touched the Switch in a while. Jose has been gaming on the Switch. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not a gamer no more. How's that?
Nah, temporarily. Well, I don't know. I don't know how temporary it's gonna be. It's just probably just how it is gonna be
Right,
for a while.
right,
But
right, right. Yeah.
mhm, yeah, yeah. Maybe it's just
Um.
like
Oh,
also
sorry.
also right now gaming's kind of like in a lull. There's not like bangers coming out that makes you wanna like make time to play something. So
Sword, Skyward Sword, Skyward Sword.
That's
it's
true.
not your turn. That's good. Okay, that's fine.
How dare you say that, though, Ray? How dare you say that? There's no
That's
bangers. I will
uh,
take the Skyward Sword.
It's a remaster.
And what about it?
like I wanted to I've been wanting to play Skyward Sword, but Jose started and then he started playing Unite, so I haven't been able to play on that. I need another Switch
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah, I did buy Skyward Sword. I have it, and I plan to play it after the podcast. So shout out to
Nani?
Skyward Sword.
You bought it?
Yes, I'm actually excited to play it.
Mm.
That is so cool.
All right, so
All right, Jose, your turn.
yeah,
Uh, so for me, yeah, I've been playing. I've kind of taken over the Switch this last couple of weeks. I did start playing Skyward Sword, and it's a really it's a very refreshing. There's some aspects about that game that you kind of forget about. Um, I think I've mentioned this before, but I only played it once when it came out for the Wii. Um, and so after I passed it, didn't really go back to it. So playing it again, it's very refreshing. And there's some aspects of it that you kind of pause on, and you're like, oh, this is nice. Just like they're more expressive. Like the characters, I forgot how expressive they are in um, the the little cutscenes and all of that stuff. But yeah, it's been fun. The motion control is still kind of I prefer to play it with the Joy Cons.
Oh,
Because
really?
I played it, yeah, I played it handheld, and it's very weird to for me at least to wave the sword with one of the joysticks like when you're playing handheld. I'm not really used to that. So yeah, I for sure prefer to play it on the TV with the Joy Cons. But yeah, that's been good. And then for the most part, Pokemon Unite just kind of took over my life. This
Tell me
past
about
week,
this, dude. Tell me.
I was playing. I was playing like every day this past week. Um, and I blame you, Ray. um,
Yeah, for
and I
sure. It
blame
was
you,
my fault.
Cassandra. Just- um, but yeah, it was fun. Like uh, I think when I got hooked on it when we started playing, and we were losing and we were winning, and it's just kind of like that want, to kind of end it on a good note. So you want to win before you stop playing, so that can take up,
Yeah.
quite a few hours actually. But yeah, it's fun. And I really do like that Pokemon Unite is very. I feel like it's very generous with some of the bonuses, for logging in and for meeting certain or reaching certain achievements or missions, daily missions. They really do give you uh, uh, plenty of bonuses and currency and whatever. But yeah, it's been fun, and I plan on continuing to play that for some time. And sorry, but yeah, that's been it. Just Skyward Sword and Pokemon Unite for me.
Cool. Yeah, I look forward to playing more with everybody. It's something about it, man. It's just enough investment to where it doesn't feel overwhelming. It's just like junk food. You just can't get
Yeah,
enough of it sometimes.
it doesn't. I don't know. I feel like it doesn't feel so complicated that it turns people away. Um,
Right. Mhm.
it's kind of a little simple, um, and I think that's the appeal of it as well.
Yeah. All right. Cassandra, go ahead and regale us of your stories about Skyward Sword and maybe other games that you played as well. I know you played Pokemon Unite, but go ahead, take over.
No, Rick, we're not going to talk about Pokemon Unite.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Um, I feel like I have played Skyward Sword a little bit here and there, but I have like this thing where I get to a certain point and I don't want to play anymore because I don't want the story to end. So that's
Aw.
what I've been kind of doing. I've been kind of pushing on playing Skyward Sword. I'm kind of like near the end game right now. Um, can you hear that? That's really loud.
Oh yeah, my bad. Let me mute myself. You can continue.
Okay, I was just waiting for them to pass over. It's like really loud, but I don't know. It's just like um, I really like the experience of playing it so far. It's like much smoother than on the on the Wii, and then I feel like it can just cheat sometimes because if you play it like you can play it like with just the Joy Cons, right? And then you're kind of like using motion controls. But when I'm kind of like mad or I don't want to mess around and like I just want to like do something like really fast, like there's a little mini game where you have to cut like bamboo, and the guy's like, "Oh, how many times can you cut this bamboo?" And so I was trying to do it with the motion controls, and can you imagine me trying to slice a bamboo stick like 50 times? So no, it does not work. Okay, like sorry, sorry Nintendo, but it doesn't work. I mean, if you're like some ninja master or you think you're like a ninja and like you like slicing stuff,
You calling me out?
whatever. But no, I can't do it. So I use the little I use the like I dock it and then I'll just use the I don't know what is like the D pad or whatever it is that you can move the sword around with when you're playing it docked. Um yeah, so I've been doing that, and then there's like I've also, it's funny because I was on Reddit yesterday and I saw someone, there's like a pumpkin mini game, right? That you can like shoot the some pumpkins with arrows.
Oh
And
yeah.
then the people again, they were like not cheating, I guess, but their strategy was like, I guess they turned off the motion control, so they put the Joy Cons like either on the, on the little, what is it called? Does it have a name, that little square thing in the middle where you can put the Joy Cons on, and it's like it feels like a controller. I don't know. Is there a name for that?
Oh,
Oh, I don't know.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. The freaking. Yeah, dang, you got me there. I
No,
forgot what it's
yeah,
called.
I can't think of the name either.
I just know.
Yeah.
I was thinking puppy face, but that's not what. That's
The
definitely
puppy
not what it
face.
is.
Let's just say that the puppy
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
So people use that in order to finish some of the stuff because it's easier that way. It's easier than just moving the Joy Cons around. Um, but yeah, I've been trying to do that. I've been trying to do like a lot of the side quests, and I think like it's really intensive, and like that aspect of Skyward Sword, because you have to do like the gratitude crystals, and so there's a lot of little like mini side quests, and I guess you kind of like get to know like the people around like his village and stuff like that because of those side quests. So I think that's kind of cool. Um, so I remember we talked about that in Breath of the Wild. That was like an aspect that was missing. It wasn't like you didn't really get to know the people around. They kind of just walked around, and maybe you came across some people. I feel like the closest relationship Link made in game with like a living a living character was with the bird. What's his name? I can't believe I already forgot his bird.
Oh, Cass.
With Kaz, yeah. Because he's like, you would see him everywhere, and he would like sing you a little song or whatever. And
Hmm.
but that's why I like Skyward Sword. And I love that Beetle was in Skyward Sword because I love Beetle. I don't know, he's a capitalist, but I love him. He only has like he only has like 10 items that he sells to you in the game, and then he just has like a little sold out sign like forevermore. But I'm okay with that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna finish that today or tomorrow, like this weekend. That's the goal. So we'll see. I since I've been avoiding Skyward Sword, I've been like playing games that you can kind of just like pick up and go. So Pokemon Unite, thanks to Ray. Look at what he's done to all of us. Um, and then I like playing Apex, but I will not touch Apex by myself because I'm so bad at it, and it's like I don't want to join like a team of strangers where they just get mad because of how bad I am. So that's why I like
Mm.
playing with you guys.
Okay.
Um, but I just love games like that because I love games that have like a competitive aspect in them. Like that's why never in a million years did I ever think I was gonna like Fortnite. But look how many hours I put into Fortnite. I put like 200 hours into that game. Um,
Crazy.
I know, and I feel like if Apex had like a single player mode, I definitely would be like on that level right now, like playing that
Mm.
game that much.
Do you mean solo? Like you can play by yourself and queue in?
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
solo mode.
Yeah.
But but Pokemon Unite is fun too. Like I thought it was gonna be lame because it's Pokemon, but uh,
Whatever.
Got him.
well, yeah, dude, come on. There's no originality. It's all the same stuff over and over again. I'm tired of catching little Pokemon. So I liked it. I liked it because it's like Smite, right? And we're kind of
Hmm.
bad at it, but we're getting there.
Do you play
Where?
by yourself
Yeah.
in Pokemon Unite?
I have yet to play by myself. I
Mm.
was thinking about it, and then I'm just like, I don't know. Like I always kind of like back out before I do. But I think I'll try doing that too and see how it goes. I think it would be okay like playing that one by myself because it's not like as high stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say I feel like we're gonna fare much better. I think we're already faring much better than we did in Smite.
Smite was terrible. Like Smite, like I'm not saying the game was terrible. We were just not equipped to play it. Like the
Yeah.
people who play it were like obviously pros, and we were just there like
Mhm.
what's up, y'all?
Like
It's
I think 'cause that game was already established, and
Mhm.
Unite was kind of new, and you guys were like going with along with everyone else, you know.
Mhm. And I'm telling you, like I said yesterday, like I feel like people that like Smite and like I'm sure there's other games like that with the same format, right? Like maybe they would be drawn to the Pokemon Unite just to try it out because they like the format. But also like you're getting that appeal, like the little like the 12-year-old Pokemon fan appeal. Like I feel like you're getting a lot of casual gamers that are gonna play this game because they're like, oh, it's a Pokemon how would you say, like it's a Pokemon vehicle, you get me? So
Hmm.
Mhm.
It's more accessible, or it seems more accessible.
yeah.
They're gonna get a rude awakening. It's bound to happen. You're not gonna play against people of your same skill level. As the system's just gonna pair you up with somebody that, like me, who's played League of Legends or something before, and your day's gonna get ruined. But if you like the game enough, you'll keep playing.
See,
I
League of Legends like intimidates me a lot because I feel like it's so, I don't know, like it's too much. But it's
Yeah.
similar, right? It's a
Hmm.
similar.
Format. But I really think that Pokemon Unite is a really good stepping stone if you wanted to play another MOBA, because a lot of it, like now you know how the map works, like what you need to do, like how to pace yourself so you're not dying all the time. Those are like the fundamental things you need to know before you worry about, like, for Smite and stuff. You have to worry about items and what else you have to worry about. I guess more objectives as well to help your teammates and things. So I think it's a really good
that,
stepping stone.
that's true. I had forgotten about that. I was like overwhelmed with that other like all the other things you could do in Smite. And this
Hmm.
one's just like really simple. But
Right.
yeah, I need to learn. It's like you definitely have to learn to be patient in that game. Cause I'm always like I would get killed constantly because I was like I wanna get some points in or whatever, you know?
Mhm.
Um but I felt confident until yesterday we played against some team who just annihilated us.
Oh yeah.
They just I don't know where they came from. I don't know how the system like matches us up, but they annihilated us. Like we couldn't even breathe, and they would like come over and they would like hit me at my Snorlax, okay, and
The
I would
beefy boy.
die in like 3 swipes, and I was like, what is happening here? What is happening?
Yeah, it's pretty bonkers what can a good team can do against you.
Now I'm gonna go play. I need redemption.
Okay. Anything else, Cassandra?
Nah, that's pretty much what I've been playing so far. It's just very simple Nintendo games.
Very
Nintendo has
good.
games.
They sure do. As for me, played. I haven't played a lot of Apex. I think probably the last time I played Apex was with Marcos and Luis during the weekend. So last weekend, not even this weekend. So it's been a little bit. Um, can't say much more about Apex. It's super fun. It's one of my favorite games to play right now, and has been for quite a while. Um, I have played Final Fantasy 14 because I took advantage of the free the free login that they do sometimes to get players that haven't logged in for a while to come back. And I'm in love with this game, man. I am super in love with Final Fantasy 14. I intend to get you guys to play it later in the September because there is going to be a way for me to get a mount where we can all ride together and we can go around and see the world together, and I can direct you guys to where to go and everything, which sounds really exciting to me, and I think it'll expose you to more of the game to see how special I think it is and how crazy beautiful it is in certain spots. So I'm looking forward to that if you guys will indulge me. Um, as for what I did during the free trial, I did. There's no story. the new story yet. I have to wait for either a new patch, which I don't think there's going to be new patches with new story, but the big bulk of new stories coming in November with Endwalker, and that's going to be a whole new expansion where they're going to introduce new jobs and there's going to be new character progression or character like narrative and new villains. Probably I don't know about new villains, probably most likely, but development of the existing villains as well. And I am I'm invested in pretty much all the characters that have been introduced so far, and I can't wait to see how that shapes up. It's going to be like the end of the story that's been taking place since a realm reborn, which is like 2013. It might have been for like the one that came out in 2010 as well, but they restarted the whole world, and a realm reborn was the result back in 2013. So really exciting stuff. I've been playing this game for a long time, probably like 7 years or so. 7 years on and off. I've been liking this game, so really fun stuff. I've been doing dungeons, so you can queue up for dungeons, and it's like an instance that is separate from the open world or the zones, and they have their own aesthetic and objectives that you need to complete, and you play with other people rather than yourself, which is really fun. And you can either be a healer, a damage dealer, or a tank, and you have to work together to finish the objectives. So doing that mostly, and other there's a lot of things to do in the game. So there's other things you have to manage to um, get the resources that you need to get gear or to level up your character, things like that. So a lot of dopamine to be had. I feel like I'm always engaged and can't wait for more and to go back and subscribe. That was a lot of information, you guys. You guys good?
Yeah. No, yeah, we're good. That's nice.
Okay. Yeah. Cool stuff. And
We
then
played this, right?
yeah, the quote unquote weeb game.
I liked it though. It was interesting.
Yeah, and you only got a little taste. You barely made your character and got into the town, so there's a lot more
Yeah,
to
I
see.
feel I could play more of that. I could.
Yeah. And I never showed you that surprise that I wanted to show you guys. So
Oh, I know. We're leveling up just to get to that point, and
mhm,
we never.
we never followed through on that.
No.
We gotta play.
Yeah.
Can you play it on PS4?
Yeah.
Maybe now that my brother has a PS5, I can steal his PS4.
Yeah. Possible on the PS4, so that'll be
Only for
fun.
that game.
Only?
Sony will not get my attention anywhere else. Wait a second. Cyberpunk. I forgot to mention that. We got Cyberpunk. And
Oh
I'm like
yeah.
trying to find the time to play it. Maybe I'll play that today too.
Dang. Don't forget about Death Stranding if you ever get that one as well.
Oh, Death Stranding. I do want to play that. I do want to play that so bad. Eventually. Definitely.
So you do want to support Sony?
You know what, Cállate? I'm supporting Keanu Reeves and I'm supporting Kojima. And that's it.
Yeah, and then Pokemon Unite, but I already shared some of my thoughts about that. I think it's really cool. I mean, as a MOBA player, somebody that's played League of Legends before, and how cool some of the characters in Pokemon are, like Lucario and Greninja. I really like Gossifleur. Gossifleur is a queen. I
Yeah,
put
that
that
seems to
as
be
a title.
your go-to.
Yeah. And yeah, I've been having fun gaming. So, good stuff. All right, guys. For the rest, or for most of the rest of the podcast, I was thinking we would go through console generations that we've experienced in the past and take our time, think about how it was back in the day playing the games on that console, our circumstances surrounding that console, how we felt at the time, how special it was to us, and just have a discussion about them. You guys think that's pretty cool?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So to aid me, I'm gonna pull up a Wikipedia post with all the home console generations. Did you guys play the original NES?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
Okay. Any Atari stuff, Master System, things like that?
No, we're fake Nintendo stands. Nintendo fans.
Okay, okay. All right. So I probably did touch the NES at one point, maybe. No, no, no. I think that's too old for me. So we can go ahead and start with the fourth generation. And they said that the fourth generation was from 1987 to 2004.
What?
Yeah. Uh, I think. Okay, so did you guys have the Turbo Graphics, PC Engine, Mega Drive Genesis, or the Neo Geo? Have you guys had experiences with those?
No.
No.
Okay, yeah, me neither. So, oh, maybe the Sega Genesis, but I don't know if that was in this one or the other one. I don't have much to say about that one anyway. So let's go ahead and
Yeah.
start. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead and start with the Super Nintendo. Super
We
Nintendo
did
came
get to play
out.
that one.
You guys did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just real quick before you guys get into it, it came out in 1991. Super Nintendo in North America.
Wha-
It's older than us. It's 30 years old.
Dang. Yep. Also, according to this Wikipedia post, it sold over 49 million units.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty decent, pretty good. And does anybody have a thought or a memory that jumps right out at them when they think of a Super Nintendo?
Um, for me, it's several actually. So we did have a Super Nintendo, and I think it was I don't know if it was my mom's or my uncle's, but yeah, we had that for a while, and we got to play several games. Um, I think like the two main uh, games that come to mind are Super Mario World. What was it? Two? Super Mario World? Oh, yeah, the first one. Um, we spent so much time playing that game. I think even our parents would play that game, and they would take turns. So my dad would play, and then my mom would play. It's weird. Turns out, they were weebs before we were. but uh, well, yeah, that was like we had it in the garage as well at one point. So whenever we would do like chores outside, we would play. We would take turns. Um, One of us would go do the chores or whatever, and then one of us would be playing, and then we would alternate. So that was um, that was fun. And Donkey Kong Country 2, that one was also a really fun game. Um, and the funny thing is, I don't think I personally ever passed those two games um, during the entire time we had the Super Nintendo. Um, but uh, but yeah, it was fun. I don't know, like it was just. I think that kind of I don't want to say laid the groundwork for us, getting into gaming because the Nintendo 64 was a big part of that. But it definitely was. It definitely added to that kind of love for Nintendo and Nintendo games. So and then there's several other games here and there that we also played that just good memories of those games.
Yeah.
And then one time I tripped over the controller and the Super Nintendo fell and we could never
Oh,
play it again, ever again.
really? That's what happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow, you killed it.
Yeah, I hate myself for it. I think it was me, right? Yeah, I think it was me. Yeah, those were special nights. We will play outside as family. It was fun.
That's really cute. We we don't like my mom is like, ay, qué fantasías. Like I don't know. Like she's never gotten the appeal
Yeah.
of video games. So it's just mainly like my brother and I and like our uncle.
Mm.
Yo, that was back in the day when if you tripped over the power cord and that power cord came out, dude, that was the end of the world.
Yep.
No saves.
We're gonna talk about the 64 in a bit. Oof.
Dude, all right. You guys want to share any more thoughts, or should I? Yeah, I'll turn it over to you guys before I talk about anything.
I used to play the Super Nintendo a lot. We would go to like a cousin's house in LA and like that was like the one thing we all had in common, right? Like, oh, we all like playing Mario games. So we would play Super Mario World. Um and we would always like take turns and of course I would die first like all the time. So like my brother would like he always had more playing time and stuff like that. But I remember it was fun. It was fun getting through like the worlds together. I think we always started at the first world and we just like made our way. I don't think we ever beat the game though. I vaguely remember, I don't know if this is like some kind of like fabricated memory, but I feel like there was a Ren and Stimpy game on the Super Nintendo, and I remember that was one of the games my cousin had. And we would always look at it and we're like, oh, we don't like this. And so we wouldn't play the Ren and Stimpy game. But I remember they must have had like some boring like shooter game or something. Like, was there like a James Bond game or something on there? I feel like I remember those were like some of the other options. And I was just like, I don't like this. Like, just give me Mario. That's like the only time I'll say, like, give me Mario over anything else.
There was a Ren and Stimpy game on the
There
Super
was.
Nintendo. Yeah,
Okay, so I'm not crazy. Yeah. I remember that like vaguely, but
it
it
looks pretty
wasn't like
cursed.
it does. Like it wasn't too appealing, so like our go-to was also always Super Mario World.
Hmm. Any other thoughts?
I remember there was we had a Tasmanian Devil game um that we really did enjoy. It was really fun. And now that I think about it, it was like a pre what are those mobile games called where you have to get the coins you're running and you're just
Hmm.
constantly running. Um,
Yeah, I
I
think it's
forgot
an
the name, but
endless runner.
I like Temple
yeah,
Run.
yeah, exactly. It was like that, so it was like a precursor to that. Like they were ahead of their time.
That's
But
dope.
yeah, it was like this game of Tasmanian Devil just running through like a road, and you had to move, to catch. I think it was like chicks, and you would just eat them. I'm guessing. um, and and yeah, that was really fun. I think it was called Tasmania, Tasmania, um, and yeah, we really do. We enjoyed that one a lot as well. I feel like licensed games like hit back then.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's true. I hadn't really thought about that before. I feel like back in the days, you had a lot more variety in games. Or maybe it's just that we're not inclined to buy those games like now. Like I'm getting ahead of myself, but I remember on like some of well, they're older now, but it was like I feel like it was a Game Boy or something. I had like a Rugrats game.
Oh my gosh, the Game Boy was ripe for those games. It was crazy.
Yeah, and then now it's like I don't know if there is. I kind of just go to, I look for what I like, but I wonder if kids now have that same like experience.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't think this includes the Game Boy. You just brought it up. I think it's just home consoles. Oof.
No
That has to
way.
be
Game
talked
Boy was
about.
like, yeah, because I feel like it was easier to get like a handheld console. Like they're always like less expensive, and
Hmm.
I remember that was like the first time I had like my own game, and I didn't have to share it with my brother. And I would spend hours on like the dumb little games that I had. Like I had a Yoshi's World game on there. I love
Hmm.
playing that Yoshi game.
Man, I'm not sure what generations those would be in. I guess I would have a rough estimate. Let me just go back to the page that I was on. So Game Boy, Super Nintendo. Was the original Game Boy out with the Super? It had to be, right? Let me think. Let me see. Did you guys have an original Game Boy, like Game Boy or Game Boy Color?
No, my first one was a Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we played a Game Boy Advance. Like I never remember the Game Boy Color or Game Boy.
Okay. 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 So the Game Boy Color came out in 1998, and that was I want to say it was my first handheld like legit handheld console. Uh, what would that fall into? That would fall into the sixth generation, I guess. I'll just drop it in there, I suppose. All right. Any more thoughts before I share my thoughts about the Super Nintendo?
Go for it.
Okay. So Super Nintendo,
Okay.
I it was pretty impactful for me, very impactful, similar to how you guys were. Um, I remember fond memories of playing this system at my grandma's house because I would get dropped off over there frequently they would look after me for most of the day because my parents were working and all that. So a lot of my childhood was spent at my grandma's house, and the Super Nintendo was pretty much the console at that house. So very, very vivid memories of playing Super Mario World. I remember playing a lot of Donkey Kong Country, the original one. That's where my love for the original Donkey Kong Country came from. What else was there? Final Fight was like my first side-scrolling game that I played on a console. That was really fun. I don't know if I still have it. A lot of my Super Nintendo games were like lost in the shuffle of things, unfortunately. But yeah, and Super Mario World specifically, having cousins like Cassandra was alluding to, playing those games with your cousins or your relatives, and I don't know who this cousin was to this day. I just remember her having cereal inside of a plastic cup, or it might have been like animal cookies or whatever with milk, eating it with a spoon, and just like playing Mario at the same time.
Yeah.
That's like
Just
the best.
yeah, it's just that kind of like that vibe. It's just something that our generation just went through, and it's such a nice memory
Hmm.
to look back on.
It's so relatable.
Yeah, quite relatable. And I'm pretty sure I played this one with my dad, but it was also my introduction to sports games. So there was this game, NBA Jam, an arcade basketball game. Um, Super flashy and fun to play. I remember having fun playing it. I'm pretty sure it was with my dad. I don't think my cousins liked playing it too much, so that was probably one of those games my dad and I bonded over, as well as the Super Mario World. So I think it's just the sentimental value of the Super Nintendo can't be overstated. It's part of our childhoods.
This was like pivoting the conversation, but I mean, can y'all imagine that? Can y'all imagine like if you do have kids? Like, are you guys gonna be like, here, child, I'm passing this on to you. I'm passing the knowledge on to you. Like, okay, well, what would be like the introductory game that you would give your kid if you had one?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it would be Super Mario World.
Yeah, old school.
Yeah, I think
If
that
I
game.
think for me,
Go
it
ahead.
might be Ocarina of Time.
You're a madman.
True.
I
Poor
know,
child
because
though.
I mean, Breath of the Wild, you can do whatever you want, kid.
I just think that
That's
Super
tough.
Mario. Oh, go ahead. You want to say yours first?
Oh no, I just said that's tough. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right. I just think that Super Mario World is you can. There's actually I don't think there's a way to not have fun on your first like pick up the controller and just consume this game. Like from a visual standpoint, it's like one of a kind. From a playing the game standpoint, you can just have fun watching Mario just like do his animations, either walking, figure out how to run with holding the button, jumping, seeing the Goombas or whatever enemy it is, just morph into something else when you jump on them or hurt them or whatever, and just hitting the blocks as well. Just like those fundamental things in a game, in a Mario game, I think just hits all the spots for anyone or any gamer or anybody. It didn't
It's
have to be
kind
a
of
gamer,
true.
just whatever, whoever picks up the controller.
Hmm.
That's true. It's the classic, right? The blueprint. So
Yeah.
I I think my one thing, like if I would like play with like a little kid, like my thing is like I remember getting frustrated that I would die a lot. So I was
Okay.
like, in the new games, they're like it's like open world, right? Like even Mario Odyssey, it's like I feel like you can kind of roam a little bit and play without maybe losing so fast, you know?
Hmm.
I think that's
Hmm.
like the one plus that the newer games have. And like how you were saying with Breath of the Wild, like yeah, you could mess around so much in Breath of the Wild. Like I
Yeah.
can't wow, like I can't imagine like being a kid and playing that. Like there's just so much to do, like so much to see. Like
True.
I think it would be like really really fun. That's my alarm again. um but yeah, cuz I was thinking about like Ocarina of Time. While I love Ocarina of Time, it took me ages to finish it because it was hard for me. So I guess that's what I'm thinking about as well. Like I
Hmm.
feel like yeah, you have to have games that are accessible because if it's not, then I feel like it's not that fun anymore when you're like maybe like a little bit frustrated because you don't know what to do or you don't know like some of the controls or things like that.
Hmm.
Yeah. For open world, Breath of the Wild would probably be the one. Um, for some reason, Skyrim went through my mind, but Skyrim is more. I don't think it's as universal as something like a Breath of the Wild. And for just like a regular game, I would pick Super Mario World.
That's so true.
Hmm.
I
Can
mean,
you
I would for sure start with like a, I don't know, they might be weird, but like with a Nintendo game for sure. Um,
That's
just
oh my
to
gosh, yeah.
indoctrinate them. Just kidding. Just to like, I don't know. I feel like it's more because I don't know. Like when you asked that question, the first thing I thought of was Marcos, because obviously Marcos was born and he was a little kid and um, we were a little older and we were playing Legend of Zelda. We were playing Ocarina of Time, and what we would do is Marcos would like want to be there, watching and playing. So we would give him a controller and pretend like we connected it, but it obviously wasn't. But Marcos thought that he was playing and moving it, and that to him was like he was entertained there. And I feel like that exposure, obviously it kind of made him interested in Zelda. Um, Same with Pokemon. You know, like we lived, breathed, and Pokemon. Like our sheets were Pokemon bed sheets were Pokemon. We had posters. You know, coin. Um, what is that? Piggy banks. With Pokemon, and so Marcos was exposed to that as well. And so just by being there, like he uh, kind of uh, fell in love with that as well. Um, so that's where my mind went, as far as like just kind of exposing them to these games. And then obviously, you know, Marcos, he moved on. Well, he didn't move on. He still likes those games, but you know, obviously he started playing with the PS3, and you know, he's much more um, what's the word? Like he has a lot more. Uh,
Well versed.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, Minecraft. He plays Minecraft, and that's another game that I feel like that's the appeal. Minecraft is just exploring and building, and it's that open world
Hmm.
accessibility that I think you guys were talking about with Breath of the Wild. That it's just, you know, a kid could literally spend 4 hours like cutting trees or whatever,
Yeah.
or like climbing, you know, a mountain. Um, you know, not even necessarily like uh, progressing with the plot and the game, but just, you know, moving around and doing these, you know, things that, you know, are fun to them. Um, so yeah, but yeah, I don't know, for sure for me it would be like a Nintendo game, just because I feel like it's, well, that's how it happened to me. You know, it's kind of like a tradition, if you will. It's not really a tradition, but because I don't know, I feel like the PS games, the Xbox games, they're a lot more. I don't know. I feel like they're very overwhelming, or they could be very inaccessible. But I mean, that's just me, because again, I didn't play any of those games as a kid. So I don't know. It could be different um, with the new generation or whatever.
That's so hilarious. Like how Ray had brought up Skyrim. Like I could not imagine giving a kid like, hey,
Exactly. That's
let's
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
let's play some Skyrim. Let's play some League of Legends.
Dude.
Or let's play Death Stranding together. Like no,
Hey, you want to play some
it has
Sekiro?
no. It has to be
Some
Nintendo. It has
Dark
to be
Souls.
wholesome.
How about Minecraft?
I love that. Cause for me it wasn't my first thought because I never played Minecraft because I was like aged out of that already. But
Right.
I like kids love Minecraft. Like my little cousin, he's like 9 years old, and he's obsessed with Minecraft. And he'll tell me about all the little characters, and I don't understand, but I'm just like, oh, that's amazing. And then I'm always just like, tell me more, and he'll talk and talk and talk for hours about Minecraft. And he has like an amazing vocabulary because of Minecraft.
Hmm.
Yeah. There's one game that I'm thinking of that will be relevant in the next generation, but a game that really also impacted me was Spyro. And I think that's also a really good introductory game because too the mechanics aren't complicated. You can just kind of like Mario figure out how to you can have fun just jogging or walking, but once you learn how to press a button to sprint or go faster and how to do your basic attack, which is just the fire, breathing fire, I think the world of Spyro is really Nintendo-esque, really accessible to all ages, and has that fun factor that a Nintendo game like you guys are bringing up would.
That's true. My brain, my anti-Sony brain wouldn't have thought of that, but I do remember. I think I think Spyro or Crash Bandicoot, one of those games. I remember it was like really nice and colorful, and we would occasionally play that, but not really.
Because there was a you that was older that was a Nintendo stan.
That's
pressuring
right.
the kids. Nah, I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but I guess in a way I had the same thing because PlayStation was kind of a thing like that was I wouldn't say it was pushed on me, but was exposed to me more. I would say because of me playing NFL games on it or basketball games on it or seeing my older cousins play it, and I think that's what pushed me towards the PlayStation brand.
I think that's how it's got to be, right? Because like I
Yeah.
feel like, I think back in the days, the marketing was like harder, right? Like they were heavy, like saying like I remember Sega was like, oh, Nintendo's for kids, but Sega's for cool kids or for like teenagers or whatever, right? I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation kind of did the same thing as well. But like I just remember like my brother playing like Resident Evil games.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine you can play those on a Nintendo as well. But I remember seeing those and I'm like, that's so not for me. I remember
Mm.
playing Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, well, this is interesting, but I don't remember the whole story, so I probably never beat it. But it was just like that's probably my exposure, the extent of my exposure to like those games that are a little bit more complicated, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Hmm.
How did none of us get exposed to the Sega? Like seriously, like this the system. Like I don't even remember that much marketing about the Sega. Like one of my dad's uh, friend's kid had a Sega, and I saw him play it, and that's about it.
Yeah, I don't have any experience with the Sega.
was Sega Sonic?
Yeah.
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 Because I remember playing Sonic. I just don't remember what system it was on. I thought it was the Dreamcast.
The Dreamcast is probably the most recognizable, popular version of Sonic back in the day. Yeah. But since we're jumping around systems, should we go to the fifth generation, the next one?
Yeah.
All right. Depending on how much time we take up on this will be the last one because it's getting close to 12. So this will be the last one for today, and then we'll continue it later. Just real quick though, did you guys have a Sega CD, CDI, or a Neo Geo CD, or have anything to say about those?
I don't think we ever had that.
Okay, just checking.
No.
Yeah, me neither. All right, so fifth generation consoles. Fifth generation consoles included the FM Towns Marty, Amiga, CD32, Atari Jaguar 3DO, PC FX, Sega 32X, Sega Saturn, PlayStation, Nintendo 64, and Apple Pippin.
The hell?
All right, so we're probably gonna have a lot of talk about these two systems, the N64 and PlayStation. So, do you guys want to talk about them? You guys have time to talk about them on for the rest of the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Before we do N64, because I know you guys have more experience with that, I'll talk about PlayStation first, and you guys can have the end.
All right.
Okay. All right. So the original PlayStation, um, was also a really impactful console in my life as well. As I said before, that was where a lot of the sports games that I grew to love, like NFL Blitz, and I think it was just mostly NFL games. I believe I also had a hockey game. Dude, I have so many PlayStation games. I'm not even going to front. I have, those CD cases that you keep like supposed to keep like music CDs and stuff in.
Yeah.
I have 3 of those for PlayStation games.
That's wild.
I have so many PlayStation games. I have a snowboarding game. I have like a bike, extreme sports games, like where you rode skateboards, and bikes and did tricks and stuff. Those kind of games, hockey game, Monopoly, um, Area 51, a top-down game Loaded that I shouldn't have been playing when I was small because it's just a really bloody like top-down go through mazes and kill people game. Um, what else is there, dude? I have so many. A Scooby Doo game. Um, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2. Dude, those PlayStation games on Spider-Man games on PlayStation. I think it was also on the Sega as well. Maybe also the N64, other systems. Those are some of my favorite games, man. Like, oh man, those were I think those games were the first ones where nobody else was playing with me and I just wanted that game for myself because I like Spider-Man and I played it on my own and had a blast. That was like probably the first game where that actually happened to me for the first and second one on PlayStation. And I think they still graphically they don't hold up, but I think the how the story is presented and the simplicity of the game overall is still holds up. Um, what else is there? Spyro I mentioned earlier. Spyro was really awesome. Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage I really liked a lot. Another one of those games I played by myself pretty much and loved every minute of it. Mm, I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it for PlayStation for me. A lot of games, a lot of good memories too. Oh, one more memory I wanted to share. This is the game where I distinctly remember playing with my mom. She played a ship game with me. You know those like think of what is it? Space Invaders. You know how Space Invaders you're taking control of a ship and then you have to kill the enemies from the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in this game, it was called Raiden Project. It was more dynamic. There was like a transitioning background, and then you could move the ship and everything up and down. And there was big explosions and varied enemies, and it was super hard. I never completed the game, but we would all do the first couple levels or whatever together. She would be one ship and I'd be the other, and that game I always remember as a game that I enjoyed playing with my mom. So
That's cute.
yeah. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. As somebody who, as people who haven't really, didn't really play the original PlayStation, do you have any questions as to how it was?
Um. Well, I think we did have experience playing with it very few times.
Mm.
Um, and it was mainly like whenever we would go to like our cousin's house and they had it, and so we would play for like a bit and then we would leave. It was never like a long term type of thing. It was just like here and there. Um, and I don't know, like I remember as a kid, like whenever we would play that, like it felt very. How would I explain it? Like to me, the PlayStation was like its design, because obviously me coming from like Nintendo 64, um, and Super Nintendo, like looking at uh, the the PS1, uh, the console, its design was very sleek to me, and it was very
Ah. Mm.
like high tech, and I thought it was like this really advanced like gadget, and with the disc, and it's like well, like I don't know, like this isn't for me, like this is for like hardcore gamers, like whoa,
That's crazy.
I thought it was like for rich people, to be honest. But but yeah, I remember very distinctly, like whenever I would play that, that's the sense that I got. It's like, oh, like what am I doing with this, in my hand? Like this isn't. It never really clicked for me.
Mm-hmm.
And like right from even like when you turn on the PS1, the little when the logo appears. I believe it was a white screen, right? And the logo.
Yeah.
Um, and even that to me felt very like very advanced, and almost like I mean, I don't want to bash it, but it felt very like cold, very
Mm.
very not Nintendo, you know. Like the warmth and the colors of the Nintendo games,
Hmm.
and so for me, it always felt distant. Like I always felt distant from it. I never felt like, oh, this is like a console that I can play and fully immerse into.
Interesting.
And I don't know, it was weird, you know. And I mean, I guess that's I mean, I don't know if that was their intention, if they were trying to offer something a little more sleek, a little more um, uh, different from Nintendo. I mean, it obviously worked because now it's like the you know competition, direct competition of Nintendo. Um, but yeah, I don't know. As a kid, that was my experience with the PS1. It was just very distant. I felt very distant from it. Never really clicked with it.
Right. I can understand that. Do you remember what game you would play with your when you went over?
I think it wasn't it the Crash, the racing game? It was Crash Bandicoot,
Oh
the
yeah?
racing game. I forgot the actual name of it.
Yeah.
I think Spyro also, or no, I don't remember. And I think FIFA,
FIFA.
soccer. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, not the best, way to get me to play that console, but yeah, it was like a wide variety. But I mean,
Cool.
obviously, like FIFA, you sit down, you play FIFA. Like as a kid, I'm like, I don't want to play this. Like I want to play, with monsters and colorful like fictional characters. Like, what is this?
Yeah. I guess for sports games, I guess it clicked with me because I thought it was the coolest thing. Like seeing my dad and my older cousin play together. I think I just had a different perspective as to what those sports games could elicit because like they would get so excited, like so into it, like borderline like yelling about it, like excitedly. And I think that
Right.
just impacted me. It's like, oh my gosh, this looks so fun. I want to do that. Yeah. But anything about PlayStation before you guys take over with the N64?
No.
Okay. All right, you guys. I gave you guys the floor. Tell me about the PlayStation, Nintendo 64.
It's the Zelda machine.
Isn't it the Mario 64 machine?
No.
Oh,
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
what the freak?
When, whenever I think of the Mario 64, I always think about the Zelda games, like Cassandra said, the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, because I feel like that's everything I played in the 64. That's like the the games to play there,
Mm,
Um, so yeah, to me it was yeah, I think it's accurate to say it's like the Zelda machine. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, like that's I think that's the console that where we started like where we started playing Zelda, but we also had a Pokemon Stadium. We had Pokemon Snap, and these were like the first Pokemon games that we played before we even like touched the main line. The what's it called, the turn-based Pokemon games,
okay.
and so that was also like an introduction to Pokemon through the 64. So I think a lot of the what we like came from the 64. So it's a console I appreciate. Um, so yeah.
Yo, that controller, dude. I can't get over it. Like I don't. I think even Nintendo fans was like, "What the heck were they thinking with this controller?"
It's
Yeah,
iconic, Ray.
Okay.
it's a it's iconic. But yeah, I mean the design was kind of weird.
Huh?
The
Say
design
again?
was kind of weird.
Yeah.
They made it specifically like that so you could play Mario Party and you could have enhanced angles to be able to push buttons. Or I'm just thinking of like the raft mini games. Do you remember the infamous raft mini game?
From what we played together, I can't remember specifically, unfortunately.
Well, you remember you have to spin the what is it called?
The
What
analog
is it
stick.
called?
Joystick.
The joystick. The joystick. So you have to move the joystick around, and then in order to like move the raft to the other side, basically whatever. So I would always grab it by the middle and then move it
Right.
the joystick like that. I feel like it was like the uniqueness of that. Like otherwise it would just be like, how it is now, just one on the left and one on the right side. But rest in peace to my hand because of that mini game. The one time we played together, because also besides being the Zelda machine, the 64 for us was the Mario Party machine. I
Hmm.
feel like we would play Zelda, we would play I don't remember playing Mario 64. Honestly, I never remember playing it. My brother played it. I don't know how. Um but I just play like Ocarina of Time on there. And then we have a Mario Party copy. I know we have other 64 games, but I don't really touch them. But I love that game. It's so iconic. And the one time we played, I got a blister because of that raft mini game.
Yikes. Yeah,
We should
I
play it
can.
again.
I'm so down to play. I love Mario Party. Mario Party is the casual game for me. I love it so much.
Yes, I think going back to what we said about like an introductory game for a kid, I think Mario Party is really fun. Or
Yeah.
Mario Kart. But that's like Mario Party for me. Like I think of Mario Party and I think of the original one because I never played the other ones like on the Wii or anything like that
Hmm.
until we played Mario Party like 8 or something. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah,
What
it's
is
trash.
this? And then the Mario Party on the Switch, I also didn't buy it, but seeing that new one that's coming out, that one seems really interesting.
The
Yeah.
one with online play.
Yes, I feel like, dude, that's a whole nother level. Oh my God, Mario Party with online play.
Yeah.
That's like, that's what we needed during the pandemic.
For real.
But I'm glad it's happening.
Mhm. Well, for the Nintendo 64, I know, yeah, like Luis mentioned, like I think that's the console that kind of shaped us. um, it kind of defined what our interests would be. Um, and but I don't know, like whenever I think of the Nintendo 64, I always go back to like the colors, like just how colorful it was. Like even because we had like we had the original one, but then we also got the green one, like the transparent one. Um, and like I always think of that, and I always think
Mm.
of uh, like Majora's Mask. We had the golden cartridge as well. So I don't know, like there's always color associated to those memories of me playing, um, and I don't know. It was such a good like I don't know like it may sound cheesy, but like I always think like I was so lucky to be born like during a time like where I was able to experience like all of that. I was able to experience. Yeah, maybe I missed out on like the older consoles, but like for the Nintendo 64 to be like the one console in my childhood, like that like that's so I'm so lucky, because that was like the beginning of a lot of franchises that you know Super Smash Brothers. Like I remember we would rent that. We never owned it, but we would rent it from like our
Nice.
local. uh, store.
Yeah.
Um, and like our minds were blown, like our little 5, 6 year old minds, like, oh, Mario and Pikachu and Yoshi, what the heck, like this is so cool. and and I don't know, like it's just like this pure like kid fun. Like we were just, I don't know, like it was just so good. And that's probably the reason why now Luis has a stack of Switch games he hasn't played. Yeah, it's just like all the money that we invest in these games and consoles now. I think it's because of like the joy and just the fun that we had back then with the Nintendo 64 and those consoles.
Damn, you need to honor Nintendo right now by picking up your Switch, man. I love that. I love how you associate it. Like you made it sound way nicer. Like the all of the memories associated with it. Um, but I don't know. I feel like I don't have as deep a connection with it because, like I said, I was always like, maybe. Oh my god, I'm making a connection right now. As a kid, I would not play that game. I would not play games that much, right? Like I was always watching, like my brother play or like our uncle play, and I always wanted to play, and they wouldn't let me play because I would die really fast, and they would be like, "Oh, it's my turn now." So they had more playtime, right? Maybe that's why I don't like watching like YouTubers like play. Like you get me, like
Ooh,
the streamers and stuff like that. Maybe that's
dude.
why.
We're going Freudian here.
I think that's it. Cause I went back to a lot of those games as in like as a teenager or like a little bit older, and like I finally beat Ocarina of Time as a teenager because I couldn't as a kid. But wow, look at this! Look at this!
I see the connection, yeah. Dang.
That could be.
That could
Well,
be.
I think it's like very similar to what we're talking about, Jose. I think one time you told me like, "Oh, why do you buy all these games? Like, you don't even play them." And I think it was because like as a kid we didn't have money to buy them, and now that I have money, I want all the games so I cannot pay them. I don't know. It's weird. Um,
Oh, I can see that. I think my brother's the same way.
yeah, it's the traumas. Anyways,
One time.
You're healing your inner child.
exactly. Because I never had the chance to play all these games.
But our parents did
But
what they could. Like if you think about it, us being little Mexican American kids, and I remember like talking to like classmates or whatever, and they would be like, "Oh, we never play games, or we're not allowed to play games, and or we can only play on the weekend or whatever like that," or they just never had games at all in their life. Like I remember, like I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and I was like, "Oh, you know Mario games, right? Like you played them before?" And then she was like, "No, I've never played a Mario game," and I've just like looked at them, and I'm just like, "What? Like
Shook.
what?" Yeah.
Hmm.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah, man. I I know I missed out on iconic games with 64 and Majora's Mask. Debatable with not Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time. Debatable with Majora's Mask. People can't seem to commit with that one. But uh, for me, would I say that you missed something iconic on the PlayStation? I think from the games that I played, I don't think you did. Maybe Spyro almost, but that's borderline. Because I didn't play Final Fantasy VII. That wasn't even on my radar. I didn't even know that that existed. The iconic things that you think of with the PlayStation, Metal Gear Solid, wasn't on my radar. I think I saw it on like a demo disc for the PlayStation, and I didn't pay attention to it really. So I guess you did miss out on it, but since I can't give you that perspective as somebody who played it back then, I think that's the difference between how you guys saw the 64 and how I consumed the PlayStation.
it seems like the PlayStation was vibes.
Yeah.
Like it was like the communal experience, like playing with other people who are just as excited about those games, like the sports games. I feel like you have to be either like really sporty and like love like football to play Madden or and the NBA, right? There's
Hmm.
even like a freaking MLB one now. Um, but I remember playing. I can't remember what PlayStation it was, but like Street Fighter was on PlayStation, right?
Street
Or no?
Fighter. I'm
Like those little
not sure.
fighting games.
For PlayStation, the ones that were really popular, I remember, were like Soul Calibur and Tekken. Not really Street Fighter.
Mm, okay, I don't remember what. I know it was a game where you could fight,
Yeah.
but I remember like again when we would go over to like other cousins' house, like they would have that. They would have like little fighting games that everyone could just take turns playing them, you know.
Hmm.
I think it's different to like Ocarina of Time or Mario 64 where you can't really just pick up and go, you know. Yeah.
I get it. It's just PlayStation had all the games, like any kind of like genre you would think of, or something you're interested in, they'd have a game for it. It might not have been a good game, but they had a game for it. Just so many things to choose from. And one game I want to mention for PlayStation, Tomb Raider. I remember Tomb Raider quite a bit.
We played that.
Yeah, Tomb Raider was awesome, man. I mean, it's pretty hard for somebody that's like a child, but I remember seeing my cousin play, and I thought it was such a cool game, like a mature game that I was like, oh my gosh, what is this game? It looks really cool. It's freaking shooting pistols and shooting animals in the face with them, and you see the blood. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? It was pretty cool.
Oh,
Right? Violent.
Yeah, violence.
Um, I never got beyond like the introductory portion of the game
Yeah,
because
I love the music.
I didn't know what to do, so I didn't get the full experience. But
Oh, really? Yeah.
I just remember her triangle features.
Oh, yeah, the polygons.
Yeah, and the polygons.
Do you remember like seeing her die? I like like the
Yeah, I would
sound
die a
effects and
lot.
stuff. Yeah. I
Let's
think
do it.
everybody. Oh, what happened?
Let's do a retro game night, y'all.
Dude, yes.
Let's do it. That would be so fun.
That's a good idea. I gotta write it down before I forget. I think everybody should experience how it was to jump in the original Tomb Raider.
I can't remember.
It was really deliberate. You can't just jump just because you wanted. Well, you could, but it was really calculated. Like you had to plan out like, okay, I'm gonna take these back steps, get a running head start, and I'm gonna jump at this precise time so that I can grab that ledge and I don't die or lose a whole bunch of health falling to the ground. It was really cool, but also really tense.
I remember it being very technical.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I was just like, what is this? Like I can't just like run around or something, like roll
Yeah.
around like Link. Like it was really hard. And I didn't really get much out of playing that. But maybe now, if I tried it now, maybe I could get a little farther.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, retro game night sounds so dope, man. Yes,
We're doing it. Pencil it in.
pencil it in. All right, so we are over the time we usually stop at. Um, 12:24. We usually try to stop around 12. Any final thoughts about what we talked about so far before I wrap up the podcast?
Nintendo 64 iconic.
That's right.
Icon.
We
Nintendo
should all
iconic.
pick up an old game this weekend and check it out. Nostalgic vibes.
Yeah, Nostalgic vibes are heavy right now.
Sad vibes.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for our podcast for this week. Anybody that came through to watch us, spend a little bit of time with us, thank you for watching. We have been Roll Jump Media. We do this podcast. We talk about topics that interest us. We talk about video game news that we find pertinent to us and to the video game industry as a whole, and a bunch of other things. We do streams. We also have a website where we post most of our content, social media as well. You can catch us there, Roll Jump Media, and yeah, give us a follow there. See what we're talking about, what we're about. We'd love to have you. Thanks for watching. And before I sign off, does anybody on this panel have anything to say to our audience?
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you for tuning in.
Bye.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.